We're doing quick table calculations, specifically the rank function. Let me show you how it works. So here we are in Tableau, and this data set is available, so check the description below. And I'm going to build this visualization. I'm going to bring in subcategory into the fields here. Okay, and I'm going to bring in sales into the columns. Okay, so pretty standard visualization. If I wanted to apply a rank function, right? So a rank, all it does is it goes highest to lowest, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So if I was to sort this from highest to lowest using these sets of buttons here, all right, so let's go ahead and do that. I could really say, I could really just label, well, the highest number can be 1, the next one can be 2, and so on and so forth. But how do I actually generate those figures? Well, it's very easy in Tableau. If I bring in sales again, okay, I'm going to drop it in there. So we got two sets of sales, exactly the same. I'm going to right click the second one and go quick table calculation rank. And the only reason I've got two measures is just to demonstrate the rank against the actual values themselves. You don't need both. So I'm going to go rank. And you can see it's going to create this whole new bar chart. What's interesting about this is you can see it's pretty much a straight line. Okay, so if we add the labels in from this button right here, you'll see that there's actually a ranking number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 17. This tells us the actual order based on the values. And there's a number of things we can do with this. First of all, if you want to label these as 1, 2, 3, all the way to 17, that's one way to do it. But what if you wanted the lowest number to start at 1? Well, it's very easy. So here in the measure where you applied the quick table calculation, where the rank is, I'm going to go edit. Right? Edit table calculation. And in here, you're going to have a number of options. First of all, you have the type of calculation, it is rank. And then you have descending or ascending, right? So if I switch this to ascending, watch what happens to the visualization. Okay, so now it's going from the lowest to the highest. That's what that one does. The next option here, called competition, is very important because in certain cases where we have two values, let me get out of this for a second. Let's say, for example, these two were exactly the same value. Well, in terms of a rank, which one's higher, which one's lower? Well, they're the same. One's not higher or lower than the other. So if I go back here to edit, this controls the ranking number that comes out. So for example, and see if I can zoom in here. Say I had two numbers that were exactly the same. If you have it set to competition, it goes, well, it's just going to label them with the rank number 2, 2, skip 3 because you've already taken up a slot. Then it goes, jumps to 4 for the ranking. Or you can say, well, I don't want them to be 2, I want them to be 3, 3. Okay, so it basically just controls the sequence when you have duplicates. Or in most cases, you actually select unique. And what it does is, if you have two values that are the same, it's going to assign one of them as position 2 and another as position 3. So have a play with it. It really just depends on what you're trying to do. All right, so that is the rank function. I'm going to switch this back to descending. Okay, and I'm going to close this up. Now with a measure, a lot of people don't know this, but you can view it as both continuous and discrete. When it is in a continuous form, it will generate a bar like you see. But if I right click this one here and switch it to a discrete, watch what happens. First of all, it's going to look really confusing, go, what the hell just happened, right? What it's done is it's converted it into discrete values. And what can we do with that? Well, if I take this discrete value now and put it right in front of subcategory, watch what happens. I can actually have the numbers in here. Now you're probably going, well, why do I want the numbers? Now I'm telling you, professionally speaking, we have dealt with some very unusual data sets where ranking functions can come in extremely handy for managing and manipulating the data set in certain ways that we need. Okay, so now you have those values. Also, sometimes the stakeholders just want to go, can you just add the numbers in there? And the great thing about this is it will self-calculate as new data comes in, right? So you got to keep this in mind as well, that you can use it beyond just that standard rank. Now, I'm also going to show you for the last piece, what happens when you have multiple categories. So let's go back a few steps. I'm going to go undo, undo, until we have this. Now say I have subcategory and I'm going to cut it up with an additional dimension. If I go up here, you're going to see category. And we're going to drop category right in front of subcategory. And what that's going to do is it's going to split it up. But interesting, what happens is you still have one only occurring once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. But what if we wanted to rank in that pane, right, as it's called in Tableau? What if I just wanted to rank these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or these, what is this, 9, 1 through 9, and so on. So we can make an adjustment here by going compute using, and instead of table down, we can go pane down. And when I do that, you see the ranking resets for each pane, right? If I was to color it, it would look like this, right? So each one is starting anew. So that's what the pane function does. And one last demonstration, that this is just going one way. But if you had a table, for example, say I had something like this, I had region, I had segment, so you can get pretty complicated with this stuff. I have a value here, and I wanted to rank these ones. I can do it in here as well. Right click, quick table, rank, and now you can see from highest to lowest what is going on. And it will actually go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Right? Based on, I'll just give this a little bit more color so you can see. This one right here. I don't know if that was the best. I've got a lot of values in there. Maybe I'll just get rid of one. Okay, so you have all your ranking in different sections, and you can control this in a number of ways. It really just depends on what you're trying to do, but I'm trying to demonstrate here that rank isn't just for bar charts. You can use it for line charts. You can use it for, what's it called? Heat maps. You can use it for hierarchy maps. It really depends on you. By the way, I teach all of this in detail on my website, Jolly Mountain Education, so be sure to check that out. If you have other questions or things you're struggling with, be sure to drop me a comment. I'm more than happy to make more videos. Until next time, have a great day and bye.